Okay. How I see music in particular and sound in general, and why I don't want to look you in the eye. I guess it's going to be called something like that. Wow, this microphone is so quiet. Oh, I really hesitated before I bought it because I couldn't afford it. But as is the way, I obeyed a directive. You know, something that I've gotten better at as I accelerate toward the singularity. Anyways, not to be morbid. It's not morbid, actually. But yeah, I'm glad I listened. It was like, universe will provide. Don't worry about it. And it's kind of one of the perks of alcohol cessation. You know, that was part of the deal I made with myself and existence is, hey, you know, you're going to have more money to, you know, do things that matter. Literally. A little adjustment. Yeah, that's true. So, wow. Even if I never used this for music recording, it's worth having just for this. It's so relaxing. I feel like I'm in this cocoon of, I feel like I'm in an FM radio booth, you know, this cocoon. It's like, yeah, it's nice. Anyways, so how I see sound. I have something called synesthesia, which is a mingling of the senses. I think the adjective is synesthetic. Here, I'll show you. It's a real word. Hang on. I don't want to lose my tab. Yeah, I'm going to get back to this tab. Yes, I am this obtuse. I really am. What was this? Algor verb. I don't need to. I downloaded that, but I couldn't use it. Okay, so I'm going to type in the word. Synesthesia. What? I've been using this browser for years, and suddenly it's suspicious of me. Confirm you're a human being. My IP address hasn't changed. Synesthesia. What is it? Causes, symptoms, and types and treatment. There's something wrong with me. Oh my God. I didn't know it was like a medical condition. What does good old Wikipedia have to say? Perceptual phenomenon in which stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to involuntary experiences in a second sensory or cognitive pathway. I think this is just synesthesia, psychology today, a neurological condition in which does everything have to be a fucking condition? Sorry. WebMD, synesthesia, when one sense comes through as another. You know, there was a time when, this is like the 19th century, I was reading about this the other day. God, I was going to make this a short one. Okay, so this was like 120, 30 years ago, maybe more. And there was some scientifically minded, might have even been a real scientist in Europe. And he became obsessed with the question of whether people can really visualize things in their minds. And all the scientists of the day were under the assumption that you know, picturing something in your mind was just a metaphor, because the scientists couldn't do it. And so they just took it for granted that that was a metaphor, and nobody really had the capacity to like visualize a freshly cut apple. You know, they thought that the mind's eye was literally a figure of speech. There's a turn of phrase, literally a figure of speech. And this guy, I forget who it was, but he did work to, you know, I guess it was social science, but I think he had some standing in the hard sciences, but he established that no, he proved that the scientists just, and maybe that's one thing that made them good materialistic scientists, you know, hardcore materialist scientists, was that they lacked visual imagination. Anyway, what I'm talking about is I'm not sick. This is ridiculous. It just means, all right, so I'll tell you exactly. So look at my two cams here. Up in the upper right-hand corner, I have my laptop's webcam. And on the lower left-hand corner, I've got my studio cam. And I have carefully calibrated both of them to illustrate to you what I mean when I say that I have synesthesia. I see sound. I see colors. I see sound as colors. It is a mission that I am on to, when I am recording and mixing and mastering my audio, I'm going for certain colors. And there are certain colors and color spaces that very much annoy me and depress me, and you know, so yeah, I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. Here's the webcam, and I'm using two different programs here. One is called Camo. Camo is what I route the studio cam through. Camo snags my smartphone video feed through the Wi-Fi router, and then it sends it to OBS. And so I can't go back with the studio cam on. I can't go back into Camo and adjust my webcam. All right. But, all right, before I enlarge on either of these. So, the webcam up here, you can see that it's kind of like a sodium street light. If you know anything about light, there's a term, I can't remember what it is, but there's a scale where they measure the degree to which colors can be distinguished in a given kind of light. All right? And sodium street lamp light is like either 100 on that scale or 0 on that scale. I forget which one it is, but it's like under sodium street lamp light, everything looks, yellowish orange. And if you've ever walked down a street at night under sodium street lamp light, you'll know exactly what that is. Now, to some people, that is, creepy and unnerving. To me, it's not. I rather like it. And that's what this looks like, Everything is the same hue. That door back there is brown, which is actually brown is actually a type of orange, right? But this is black. My shirt, there's not a lot of color going on in this frame. Let me see. Oh, I don't want to hold that up. No, that won't work. Shit. I need some. Okay, here. I'll hold up my computer keyboard. My computer keyboard, as you can see, is very colorful. It has red, blue, green, purple. What is that? Kind of a magenta? No, kind of a pink? Magenta? Yellow, orange. I'll hold it up to the... See if I can do this without snagging on anything. Oh, look. Wow. Okay, well, there's that. There goes my theory. Not my general theory, there goes my expectation. The colors are coming through just fine. I don't know. You see, I think I know what I'm talking about, and then I'm just I don't. I get tripped up in the details. The details. So please try to bear with me as the general idea, okay? I know, maybe because this keyboard is emitting light. That's why it's emitting light. So I need to find something that doesn't emit light. Okay, that's my new theory. And no, this is not going to be a short video, after all. I don't think I'm capable of making a short video. Sorry. Geez. Okay. Here is, and I'm, it could be that I'm about to look like a moron again. Here's a medicine box. It's a cardboard box with headache medicine in it. Let me hold it up. Oh, I'm wrong again. It looks green. So, Jesus, I don't know. I thought it was going to look orange. So, all right. So just pretend. Well, it is true that under sodium. So this is all right. What's going on here? This is not sodium street lamp light, actually. So I'm using a metaphor. Okay, that's what's going on. All right. Just imagine that this room is actually lit by a sodium street lamp. And that's the light that I'm under. Okay, that's what's going on. Right. I kind of think I understand now. All these, I don't know. I'm terrible at science. The filter in the webcam is, as long as I don't hold up something, I don't know. All right, forget it. This is the color of, God, I'm so embarrassed. This is the color of, this is an analog, very This is a very, very saturated, and this is analog and tube saturation. Okay. But for me, particularly, I don't know why, but this is it's tubes. It's tubes. I don't know. I want to say tape. It's like a really, really getting kind of beyond warm tape saturation. It's kind of getting into the realms of like actual audible distortion. Not transistor distortion. That's a different thing. This is heavily, heavily, heavily saturated analog tape. Analog, yeah, as opposed to digital tape. Okay. This is what it looks like to me. All right. And I would go back and sort of like move the sliders and show you some. I'd show you what tube saturation looks like to me. And I'd show you what like germanium distortion looks like to me. Like a TS9 Ibanez tube screamer with the original germanium chip. You know, I would attempt to find that anyway. Okay, so, and I like this. And let's just say that, I am in a room where everything looks this color, no matter what. And there are songs that are like that. There's a lot of Neil Young that's this color. Old Neil Young. Especially just solo Neil Young. Just Neil Young and his guitar. This is like not this intense orange, not this orange, more golden yellow. Heart of gold, right? And even some of his like studio stuff, Harvest Moon, the whole album Harvest. I think he probably's got synesthesia. The cover of the album Harvest is the color of that album. Let's look at that album cover. Neil Young, Harvest. I gotta try to remember what tab I'm gonna go back to. Neil, is it Neal or it's Neil, right? Or is it Iel? Neil Young. That looks right. Harvest album cover. Yeah. Of course, we're looking at approximations on a computer screen. It's not the same. There's, what is there? Additive light and subtractive light. You know, the light of things that emit light, and the things that don't. Right there, that one. That's the color of that album. Neil Young. And there, look at that. That he knew his colors. Carnegie Hall. He or someone around him, making these artistic, director choices, knew. And it's kind of the same as if you've ever been into guitar pedals. The big companies, especially like Boss, the one that make the guitar pedal. You walk into you look at a Boss guitar pedals display, and they're organized by colors. Overdrives are yellow, distortions are orange, red, choruses are blue, delays are white. In general. things like that. What's green? What's green? Was. That's a filter. I've seen green was. I had a green Digitech synth stomp box. What is it? This line 6 synth modeler is purple. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. That's all I can say. That this Emma, you can't see it because of the Blue Yeti. Can't say. Watch my video on my pedal board as a rock organ. That's an appropriate color for that compressor, you know. So, anyway, this is a thing. It's not a mental illness or a condition to be. It's just this postmodern world is revolting and repugnant. That's part of it. There's just no room for anything mad and beautiful at the same time. It has to be stigmatized. And more importantly, it has to be corralled into the, the authoritative control structure. Has to be able to be medicated, you know. All right. Anyways, let me go back here. Here, this right here is right here. I'm going to go ahead and remember this one here, this deep bronze, man, like, let's see, what music is that color? Like, so Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, some of their music is this color. Now, this one here, see these colors? So let me show you. First for a minute, I'm gonna hide. Nope, wrong one. I'm gonna hide that one. All right. So let's just look at this. Look at this, and this is something that, you know, this is kind of like this is the palette that I've been working with in recent months. All right. This is what you're looking at right now in my mind. This is good digital audio. This is good digital audio. Okay, it's not objectionable. It's actually rather quite pleasing. You know, it doesn't have that warmth that's in the webcam at all. But still, it's all right. It's all right. It doesn't hurt me. In fact, I kind of like it. I'm in the mood for that sometimes. And so, and I want to show you this. So you also notice here is my Camo Studio interface. And you see the white balance here, right there? Wait a minute. Oh, no, you can't, because I'm being an idiot. Hang on. Right, so I need to... Oh, yeah, I need to do this again. So now that I'm getting better at this. So, look, here's the white balance. Temperature right in the middle. 5,509 degrees Kelvin. And, I haven't been oblivious to the fact that my exposure levels waver. It bothers me. But right now I can see that it's auto-adjusting. It just doesn't always do that. Anyway, white balance. Tint, it's at -1. Okay, oh, look, I can dial in 0.0. Now, 0.0 is if you don't know anything about digital audio, 0.0 is the ceiling, the power ceiling, as it were. If you exceed 0.0, then you get, if you push tape, tape has a very soft, spongy ceiling. You can push it, and it'll absorb a lot of energy. It'll absorb a lot of energy, and kind of like a sponge soaking up water and swelling, and it'll get, or here's a much better, I think, analogy. It's like, kind of like, think of a metal plate, and you're applying heat underneath it. Let's say that you don't want to cook anything on the metal plate. You just want to heat up some food. You want it to be nice and warm, keep the food warm. But if you overheat it, it's not like it's gonna explode or melt, or anything nasty is gonna happen. It'll just after a while it may get too hot to just eat off of it, but it especially if the lights are down, it may start to glow. It'll absorb a lot of heat and retain its shape and function, its properties, and that glow is that's tape saturation. And then once it really gets hot and that's where distortion starts to come in. The digital ceiling is something called 0.0. And so with analog saturation, distortion, you get these very pleasant, there's harmonics, there's harmonic distortion, there's all kinds of things that are pleasing to the human ear and brain. And they're curvy. You have to push them really, really far before they get, ugly. Well, but then people like that, they even like that. There's not, Anyway, there's like distortion. Anyway, digital distortion. If you smash through the 0.0 ceiling, you just get chopped off square waves that are just horrible. There's nothing redeeming about them at all. The human ear doesn't like it. The brain doesn't like it. There's nothing, nothing redeeming about it. So, there's other things that go into this too, that kind of go into air windows territory and math and, philosophy and all, there's all kinds of dimensions to it. Okay, but suffice it to say that really, really skillfully produced digital audio, and I'm talking about, so I had some nephews over today. They're in their late 20s, and they saw my little studio, and they were curious about it, and I showed them some of my videos on YouTube, and they were pretty impressed. Well, that's pretty good. You Everything? Yeah, I did everything. They were asking questions about it, and then one of them, poor kid, man. Now he's doing good. He's a HTML coder for designing websites for a company. But he spent 5 years in prison because as a 16-year-old, he sent some girl a dick pic. Poor kid. Man. Oh, Jesus. The things that I did as a teenager, if the same standards were applied, I'd still be rotting in jail. I didn't send dick pics to girls, but, you get the point. We didn't do that back then. We didn't have the means. You would have had to, get a camera and take a picture of your genitals and then go to the photo mat and have it developed. and then you'd have to put it in an envelope and either leave it in her mailbox or her locker or send it through the post office. Anyways, that's how old I am. Anyways, the nephews are like, oh yeah, but if you, and they're computer geeks, right? How much RAM you got on that? 16 gigabytes. And they immediately they know everything, right? Like, oh, dope. But if you have 64 megabytes of RAM and you get a better sound card, then you can be like, I forget the guy's name. I can be like, who? Oh, you can be like, name. I said, who's name? You don't know name? I have no idea. Never heard of name. Never heard of this guy name. Who is it? He does EDM. He's the biggest EDM guy on YouTube. I said, what is EDM? And they looked at me like I was from, another dimension, which I am. And it's electronic dance music. Oh, okay. Got it. He has 50 million subscribers on YouTube. All right, good for him. You kids, it's irrelevant to me. They're like, what? They're like, what? It's irrelevant to me. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing. But don't you want to? I says, how old are you? I'm 29. It's like, okay, 29. So 30 years ago, it was 1993. See how stupid I am? It's 2024. 30 years ago was 1994. And, right. So he was born in 1995. And when did CDs come out? And I was really pleasant. I wasn't gruff or I wasn't an asshole. I really, at all. I was smiling the whole time and just, being good natured. I said, well, I was born in 1971, guys. And, I remember getting my first CD when I was in high school. And that was like 1987, 88. Oh. I was like, yeah. You know what came before that? Tape. Cassette tapes. You ever seen a cassette tape? They know what cassette tapes are because they're still used. Maybe they're not anymore, but when these kids were coming up, they were still used in school settings for study purposes, cassette tapes. So they know. But I don't think it ever occurred to them that, they don't know anything about this issue of analog versus, digital. I had to explain it to them. And okay, maybe I'm talking out my ass again. Maybe this EDM guy is, I don't know. I just assumed that, it sounds like sounds like a bunch of MIDI sequencing and stuff. And he's just, he's the shit. I don't know. Maybe he handcrafts all of his stuff. So I was like, look, you want to hear my EDM? Here's the closest thing I have to EDM. And I played them the video for USB connection. And they were, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, wow, that's really good. They were, you know, they weren't just being polite. They were like, this is really good. And they were listening to it on the smartphone, watching it. And they were like, yeah, it's good. You made this? Yeah, it's suje. Is it suje? That means handmade? Yeah. See those guitars? Okay, well, you know, those are digital machines over there, but, you know, it's a workshop. I handcrafted it. I didn't use other people's samples. I didn't, you know, and it's all run through it's all 48K 16-bit. Oh, this is one thing that Koreans do, and they do this. And then one guy, there was a pause, and then one of the kids goes, but you know, if you just upgraded to 64 gigs of RAM, you know, and got a better sound card, that would make all the difference for you, man. And it's like, thanks, but no, I don't think so. Good-natured kids, man. They just don't know any better. Anyway, that was a long ass meander, and I just wrote a letter to someone tonight, assuring them that I don't meander without knowing where I'm going. Okay, see, I should never make claims like that, because Ed, there, I did it. I said I try never to do it. Okay, I did put a qualification in there. Yeah, anyway. Right here. It's right down the center. It's just neutral. And I think I like this studio cam here, and I like to do videos at night because I like this. You know? I like the way this looks. I like the colors. I like the lighting. It's good digital audio right there. It's good. And there's nothing wrong with it, per se. Especially if it's handcrafted and done with skill and taste and mindfulness. The way I calibrate my camera, my studio cam, so that when I look at it, I like it. And USB connection. Maybe some of you still haven't taken the time to go and listen to USB connection, but now, for purposes of illustration, and look at the clips that I chose for the video. I'm not going to bring up the webcam again. I'm not going to bring the analog color back again. I want to stay in the digital realm. I'm going to play very much of it. I'm going to play the intro and first verse into the first chorus. And if you listen to that sound, even without looking at the video, the colors of that sound are exactly like this to me. That's the color palette that I went for when I tracked and mixed and mastered that song. And vocal compression, save years of trial and error. At least there's no, oh, you can't see that. Hang on. At least there's no, all caps right there. There it is. You can't see, oh, can you see my, oh yeah, you can see my mouse now. Okay, good. My cursor. Save years of trial and error. That's good, man. That's why I put it in a tab. That's a good, fine. It's not screaming in my face. And I don't think it had a ridiculous thumbnail either. And it's making a claim. I'm going to save you not just time, I'm going to save you years of trial and error. Really? You got me. You got me. I'm going to find out. Sage Audio. I'm subscribed with the bell notification, so I must have been impressed before. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so let's go to my channel. View your channel. I replaced my introduction video with Maybe I'm Cursed, because the introduction video had horrible audio. Okay, videos. And where is it? There it is, USB connection. Okay, so this is a very neutral, balanced digital audio to me. So I'm not even gonna. Well, I'll leave the video up. Why not? Because you can see I reflected that in the. Yeah, I just leave them like here, side by side, kind of. This, what you hear in the audio is what my studio cam is the visual representation. That's what I see in my mind. I hope this is not too self-indulgent. If it is, sue me. Okay. All right, so it starts off with I didn't mean that. It starts out with a just open strum on a standard tuned guitar. What chord is that? I used to know. That was a little sound check before I tracked, and I liked it. I left it that way. Okay. Okay, little detail. There are two drum tracks in here, and one of these days I'm going to get around to doing a special video on my M-Audio black box audio interface, because the detail that I'm going to point out to you here is something very deliberate that I went for. One of the two drum tracks, this thing produces, it has drum loops in it, but you can manipulate the drum loops with the delays and the effects and other things. It's wonderful. And so I used a certain effect to manipulate the drum loop audio. And just notice how there's a synthy kind of thing that it's an arpeggiator effect. Listen to what the arpeggiator is doing to that drum track. And I had to do something else to the drum track to make it trigger the arpeggiator in a certain way. And to me, this is the sound of just like neon lights in a clean, well-lit part of town on a really nice, spring night, when just the energy is moving just the right way, nobody's drunk and everything's groovy, That's what I was going for. Listen to it. You can hear it going through the notes of the arpeggiator. Dun, 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 dun. I can't sing it, but you hear that? Okay. Just little details like that are colorful to me. Okay? And that little detail is blue and green with the little sparks of orange. Neon, very neon colors. Pleasant neon colors. Not sleazy neon colors. That guitar tone. Okay, I'm just... All right. Everything in this song, everything was done with intent. Not just oral intent, visual intent. In my own synesthetic, my sick synesthetic mind. Right. So, you know, that's just, it's got clarity. It's got warmth. It's got some warmth. It's not too chilly. Okay, so I do want to make a couple of notes just about my production values. Is this what I'm ultimately after? No. Is this commentary? Is this a social commentary? Yes, it is. I strive to be very thorough and comprehensive in my artistic expression. I'm not going to unpack all, okay. But look. Okay, sorry. Listen to, there's the first strum of the guitar. Then the drums. Ooh, You hear how the guitar washes in like that? Just sort of like it just washes in. And it's kind of organ-y. I like trying to create organ-like sounds. I guess I love organ. I love organs. It's probably my favorite sound in the world. What are some of my other favorite sounds? The cawing of crows. That's one of my favorite sounds. It's like a deep, 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 dark umber. Burnt umber. The cawing of crows. And organ. The organ just has so many colors in it, and they're all beautiful. Organ has everything. Organ, just the category organ. So that, the way the guitar washes in, to me, that is like, that's warm. And, but it's not analog warm. That's digital warm. That's the best that's the best kind of warmth that I know how to achieve in the digital realm. That gentle warmth. And I worked really hard on that bass to get it to match that soft, gentle, I'm trying to make ear candy here. Very, so kind of synthy in a way. All right, so gonna go where we get in, right when we get into the chorus, I want you to notice something. Not that it matters to anybody. As long as I'm making a video, I'm going to say what, I'm going to talk. But this was a very deliberate little statement here. You notice how when the arpeggiator comes in, the vocals sit back a little bit. Listen. I guess for reference, you need to hear the last line. These days they say that orange is the new brown. Yeah. Okay. That orange is the new brown. Okay, so lock that energy, that signal, that vocal signal energy, lock that in your brain. Daisy. That. See that orange is the new brown. Okay, and then USB. I think we got a USB connection. Well, what's the thing to do in digital audio, dance music? I mean, sidechain compression. Sidechain that shit. Sidechain. Which is something I don't do very much. But as I understand it, it's like, what is it? I always get confused. I forget which way it goes. What? You put a compressor into the... so I got the arpeggiator track. I put a compressor in there and sidechain the vocal into that compressor. Or is it the other way around? I got a compressor in the vocal channel and I sidechain the arpeggiator into that. The result is supposed to be that it must be the first way, that the vocal cuts, it ducks the arpeggiator or even the rest of the mix. You hear this in voiceovers and documentaries and stuff like that. It's a good example, right? So that the volume and intensity of the voice stays the same and the audio behind it gets ducked. Sorry. And I chose not to do that. I could have gone back and figured it out how, for the 12th time, because I always forget. But no. Because I like the way that layers kind of assert themselves. Right? And so I'm kind of a contrarian. Anyway, that's the sound of that. Right? But hang on. I'm not done yet. I could do this. I don't like that. That's a lot of digital audio to me. A lot of it. Okay. Green is not too bad. Actually, I can't make this look as awful as a lot of digital audio sounds to me. I'd need other... I'd need to... Those other things down here. I don't want to fuck around with those. There's saturation. I don't know. If I wanted to mess around with these sliders, I could probably... Right? That's like high vibrance and saturation. I didn't want USB connection to be like this much. I wanted it to be like that. Right, like that. Okay, maybe it gets about right there, but no more than that. Okay. And anyway, that's how I see sound. And I'd like to strike a balance, you know. But sometimes I really do just want, sometimes I really do just want to be here. And it may be another warm color, you know. And if it's a space that I enjoy being in for a little while, then you know, I don't mind monotones. They can be quite soothing to me. I'm starting to wonder if maybe I don't have some kind of autism. I don't want to say that because it's like everybody's got autism now or something. But I got a letter. Okay, so this brings me to the second part of my long-winded fucking 57 minutes. Unfucking believable. Sorry, I don't mean to be swear so much, but good Lord. I really thought I could do this like in and out. Mercy. Minimize this. All right. So, I got a letter from somebody out there. His name is Ed. That's all I'll say. And Ed was kind enough to reach out to me with some words of advice and encouragement. You know, very mild, gentle, constructive criticism. Just very, very little. Just a friendly reach out, which I really appreciated it, Ed. Really made more than just my day. So I couldn't respond right away, but I did. After when the day was done, long-suffering Mrs. was down for the count. She worked really hard through this holiday weekend. And, yeah, so it was quite early in the evening still, and I found myself alone. And, you know, the only being with any claim on my time or attention is little Chance down there under my Linux station. And he's chilling. We got his poop problem under control. He's just putting out the little pellets. And he's just chilling out. Everything's really chill right now. It's good. Like the quietness of this microphone. Just how things, general feel of it's all quiet out there. Dark and quiet. Okay, so the letter. I'm not going to read the whole letter. Just one part of it. My answer to one part of it. So can I find it? Let me pause this while I find it. Hang on. Okay. Here it is. Ed said, Lastly, look at the camera when you talk to YouTube. It can be hard, I know, but if you don't do this, it's much harder for an audience to feel a connect with your passion, and I can tell you have it. And I wrote, and I had to think about this a little bit. I didn't have to think about it, but I did. Because he's right. And, well, I'll just read what I wrote back. Thank you for the advice. The fact that you took the time to write this letter floors me. I mostly don't look at people when I talk to them. This is because so often in my life I have been told that I look at people with too much intensity and it unnerves them. I try to never look at my wife in the eye while we are arguing. Also, I find it harder to collect and keep track of my thoughts while I'm looking at someone. That's why I made the autism comment, because I recently saw that that's a symptom of autism. But it's so ridiculous. Everything is a goddamn symptom of something. So no, I shouldn't have said that. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It just means that I'm better at collecting and keeping track of my thoughts when I'm not distracted by someone's face. That's all it means. That's all it means. That includes a camera. In fact, recently I've repeatedly caught myself looking into the microphone while I talk, which is true. Like I turn and start addressing the mic when I'm just, it's unconscious, because like the idea is to turn around and look at the studio cam. But totally unconsciously, I start talking into the microphone, which is not on right now. It's muted. And so it's just habit. I just don't, and I think probably my friends will tell you, a few friends that I have. How many friends do I have anymore? Besides my wife, my in-laws occasionally. I still have one friend that I hang out with here in Seoul. By the way, it's not soul, like soul music or soul food, or where the part of you that goes somewhere after you die. Soul? No, it's soul. Soul. So, it's two syllables. Saw and ur. Soul. Yeah, so I have one friend. And if you were to ask him, I go over there when I can on weekends, and he teaches me Kung Fu. And if you asked him, he'd probably say, yeah, he doesn't look at you much while he's talking. Yeah. So, sorry, YouTube. Not that you care. I don't make eye contact a lot. And I'm not like, no offense, Ed, man. I mean, I really appreciate your feedback. I really do, man. And to get a letter, it's just, it's like an embarrassment of riches. Oh, my God, I got a letter. And Zane, if you're watching this, sorry. Because I don't normally answer emails. I don't normally even check email. I'm lucky I caught this, because I don't normally check email. I don't. I'm really lucky. That's actually almost like divine intervention that I saw Ed's letter. So I need to check more often now. Zane's always sending me stuff, and I never check my email. Because I don't like checking email. Because I don't like email. Because reasons. There's a lot of things I don't like. And that includes, it includes like humanity. I'm not a big fan of humankind. Isn't that terrible? I told you I'm an asshole. I made a whole video about what an asshole I am. It's true. but I care about people, and I want to love them, and I'm included in people. You should hear how I talk to myself. You'd want to you would want to come to my defense against me if you're halfway, compassionate yourself. Anyway, that's why, Ed, I know what you're saying, man. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not, I keep the webcam on most of the time so people can see the front of my face. I'm not like looking into the little lens the whole time. So I don't know. I'm not terribly interested in I don't like. Just not. I'm not much of a game player, and so I'm just gonna kind of be continue to be the asshole that I am. But Ed, I thank you for your letter, and the reason I saw it is I was having to swipe through the menus on my smartphone to, I think I had to turn off the Bluetooth connection, and I just happened to notice a notification that from with a little snippet of the first line of the email, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a real person. Someone, and it's about the channel. Holy shit. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ed. Means a lot to me. It really does. So I wrote you. I put considerable energy into my response. And now it's 10:30, and I don't know if I still have the jam to do the video on air windows. I'm not going to do that tonight. It's too much. I've already gone on long enough. It's ridiculous. Oh, I want to do it, but I'm not going to. Yeah. I was looking forward to that, actually. But it'll be, probably is a good reason for it. There's something I would have overlooked, or, something's going to happen tonight while I'm mixing, or tomorrow. I'm going to be glad that I held off. Right. Okay. So, before I go, I'm just going to, as long as I have, there's a few kind souls out there that are actually interested in what I'm doing. Just so you know, let me see if I can find it here. So I made that video about surrender to shoegaze, where with a USB connection, that went really well, and I was able to just make it nice and distinct and everything in its place, and it's just very clear, and like my webcam video looks. And there was another song that I was doing, it just wasn't going that way at all. It was just monotone. And in every possible way. And so I'm going to play the audio of that. Not from the beginning into end. I don't think I'm not going to put you through that. But I will be making the video for this and posting it. Or Does the World Dream Me? Let's see which one I want to play. Let's see their master, audio export, master console 0. Yep. So console 0 is Air Windows. I doubt that anybody, even Josh, got through that 2.5 hours of me going on about Air Windows. Josh doesn't need Air Windows. Although, Josh, if you decide to use Air Windows, There are things in there that you could make use of, and that certainly won't do anything detrimental to your already exquisite sound. It's not going to hurt anything. It just might give you a little bit more control over it, if anything. Yeah, so I wouldn't blame you if you just stopped watching that Air Windows video. It's really not worth your time, I don't think. But Console Zero is a big part of it for me. For my journey of, as I put in that letter to Ed, what did I call it? To cut out the icy jagged, cut the icy jagged heart of digital audio out of my digital audio. Let's see. Well, this is what I've decided on. I gave it a good day and a half, 2 days rest, and then I listened to it with fresh ears when I went to the supermarket. And I liked it. I did. I liked it. Even there are places where the bass sounds a little bit out of time. But I know for a fact it is in time. The bass and the drums and the rhythm guitars are all in time. So everything else is kind of wobbling a little bit. But I'm okay with that. It gives it I'm going to leave it that way deliberately. Here's what it sounds like. Gold. Dark gold, a lot of black, dark purple, very dark. Listen. Listen for the flange. Dark bronze, copper with like a green patina. Now listen. No, here. You hear that gnarly texture? This is about textures, colors and textures. This is finger painting. Okay? Colors and textures. It's all about color, texture. This is impressionism, kind of. Not finger painting, it's more like impressionism. And it sounds like a really gnarly, just kind of sloppy rock organ sound to me. It's a churning, roiling churning. It's like it's like river rapids on a black river at night. It's man, I did that. I'm going to show how I did that. Hang on. in the space, it's kind of, it's not like down at your feet. It's kind of like, yeah, right under the ears, shoulder height, kind of. So yeah, it's like, to me, it's like I'm standing in really swiftly rushing river water at night, you know, and the sound of the water churning over the stones, black water. That's what that is. I did that with a compressor phaser plug-in. I used automation to produce that effect only during the verses. There's another part of the song, third verse, where you can really hear it. Here. Right here. Now. Huh? It's almost, it's like, I want to say it's like subterranean, but it sounds kind of like a subterranean rumbling, but it's not that down, it's not that far down. It's more like around my shoulders, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm real happy with that, how that one turned out. And, you know, to get that, I sacrificed other things. There's always a trade. There are always trade-offs. Unless you're, that's in, you know, digital world. I've never had the pleasure of actually working in an analog studio with tape machines. Never had that privilege and pleasure. Only studied about it. I don't know what the trade-offs are like in that world. But in the world of digital audio, yeah. But I'm willing to sacrifice a great deal. I sacrificed a lot of detail. I sacrificed colors and I sacrificed details. I sacrificed a lot of this. Not that there was very much of it to begin with, but what amount there wasn't working. It wanted to be more like this. And so the stuff that was more like this that I liked, you know, it went like this and this and this and this and this. And this went like until that went out. And now I minimized my studio cam so far that I can't get it back. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, and before I go, I told you there was a tab that showed what a moron I am. Can I find it? Maybe not. I think it was in another window. So I have more than one window open with way too many tabs. Where was it? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, see, you can see recording from sound card to cassette tape. I don't think there's much of a point in that. I watched some YouTube videos on it, and I just don't think there's not much point in that. You know, again, YouTubers, man, they'll just enthuse about anything. These this guy, he records a jazz gig, a jazz quartet in some little dive in Lower East Side of Manhattan, and the digital audio capture was fine. It was really good. He did a good job. There's nothing wrong with it at all. He mixed it well. He tracked it well. He mixed it well. Sounded great. And then he went to now I'm gonna put it, run it into this Tascam onto a cassette. And he used a high bias cassette, and then he did like A/B comparisons of the different parts, which one is digital, which one is the tape. Can you guess? I got it right about half the time. The differences were very small, so very subtle, and there were times when I preferred the analog. There were times when I preferred the digital. What he said was the digital to what was the tape. Anyway, I don't see any point in that. You're either tracking straight to tape, or it's not even hard to understand why that's stupid. Because you've already when tracking, you've accepted the 0.0 ceiling. You've accepted that limitation. You've operated within that limitation to track. And so what are you going to get dynamically out of running that to tape? Except that you might run it a little bit hot, and so get some, one unified level of gentle tape saturation. You're not going to get you're not going to get dynamic character in that saturation. At least, sometimes I mean well. I think I know what I'm talking about, but then I don't. So take that with a grain of salt. That's just my thought processes. Josh could tell me if I'm talking, out of my ass. But I think that's the way it would work. Josh did a video about how unforgiving tape is. True. But it's also really forgiving in other ways. I think. Josh, am I talking on my ass? In terms of dynamics and stuff. Yeah, anyway. No, I really am starting to ramble. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. I'm going to stop doing that because if you did make it this far, you're obviously into it, so you're welcome. Okay? I'm going to stop apologizing for it. The people that I would be apologizing for are long gone. They're not even here to see. I got to be smart. It's really stupid to apologize for the length of something at the end of it, because people that would appreciate the apology are long gone. It's not hard to figure out. Okay, so if you're still here, it means that you enjoyed yourself. And I'm not going to say you're welcome because, well, it's, but anyway. Thank you for watching and listening if you're still here. And, I never thought I'd ever get an email, but if you want to send me an email, then I love it. I guess you should be careful what you wish for, right? I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I should just be happy that I got a nice email. I'm not asking for anything else. Never mind. I wish I could just go back and edit that out, but okay. I'm going to go, I'm not even going to mix tonight. I mixed all night last night, and I'm going to take Chance out for a little hippity hop in the bushes. And a lot of people are still out of town, out of the neighborhood. It's really quiet. I'm going to go out and enjoy the quiet in the full moon. This is the Lunar New Year day. It's called Chuseok in Korea, or Hangawi is the other name. And it's a harvest moon here. And I can see it outside my window right there. Reminds me of old recordings that I made. One of them was about the moon. Back when I had 2 Boss DD20 delay pedals, with each one with 20-something seconds of delay. Looking at the moon, it just reminded me of that. Okay, enough. Yeah, I'm going to go have some downtime. And maybe I'll even get on the Russian internet and see if there's a movie I might like to watch. It's the last night of the 5-day holiday. And this was a really happy one, except for the fact that my mother-in-law has been ill. She ended up staying here the whole time, and that poor, wow. You know, puts things in perspective to see someone in her state of decline. I went to the store and I bought her a big pumpkin. Looks like a Halloween pumpkin, but those are for eating here. It's her favorite kind of pumpkin. It's like this big. It's not as tall as you would want for a jack-o'-lantern, but it's still a big orange pumpkin. She's got digestive problems, and I'm going to make a porridge out of that pumpkin tomorrow for her. Yeah, tonight's for contemplation and rest. Yeah. Thank you. From lovely scenic Paju City, South Korea, under a beautiful full harvest moon. Over and out.